All right, good afternoon. Calling to order committee meeting for General Government Subcommittee Appropriations. We got one measure really to talk about. We're going to bring Trevor Santos up to the podium and talk about our GOSA grants.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. I'm Trevor Santos. I have the pleasure of serving as one of the deputy commissioners with DNR and appreciate the opportunity to present the Georgia Outdoor Stewardship Program slate of projects. Just as a bit of background, this program was approved overwhelmingly with 83% of approval by voters in 2018, became active in 2019. It is a grant and loan program, and it's the state's first dedicated funding mechanism to support local parks and trails for nature-based recreation such as camping, fishing, hunting, boating, hiking, biking, and other outdoor activities. It also provides funding for stewardship of conservation land, supports acquisition and protection of lands critical to wildlife, clean water, and military installation buffering across the state of Georgia. This trust fund is funded by a state portion of money received by the state from sales and use tax collected on outdoor recreation equipment. And eligible applicants include qualified local governments, constituted recreation authorities, state agencies, and non-governmental entities with primary concern of the protection and conservation of natural resources. In the past 5 successful funding cycles, more than $117 million of funding has been allocated to 62 conservation and outdoor recreation projects. Grantees have also committed $201 million to match those grant dollars for a total investment of $318 million. These funds have positively impacted 56 counties across the state with acquisition of more than 50,000 acres of land, creation and improvement of access to water trails and boating, as well as access points for fishing, and construction and improvement of green trails, as well as the reforestation and wildlife habitat and stream bank restoration. For the 2024-2025 funding cycle, which we are here to discuss today, the pre-application period opened on August 1st and closed on October the 15th, 2024. This year's funding cycle saw 36 applicants requesting more than $69 million in funding. Projects were reviewed, scored, and ranked by our review team in November and December in accordance with the approved evaluation criteria. On January the 14th, the Board of Trustees of the Outdoor Stewardship Fund met and approved a slate of projects. And on January the 31st, this slate of projects was also approved by the Board of Natural Resources and transmitted to you all here today for your approval. A list of the slate of projects and project distribution map has been made available to you. This slate includes 12 projects totaling more than $24.5 million in funding for 5 local parks and trails of regional significance, 4 state land acquisitions, and 3 state stewardship projects. We would respectfully request approval of this slate of projects. And before I end, I would like to recognize Sahela Naji. Sahela is the program coordinator for the Georgia Outdoor Stewardship Program, as well as our grants unit supervisor. She and her team put a lot of work into to coming up, not only with reviewing all the proposals, but implementing this program. So I want to recognize her and all the work that they do. So with that, thank you for your time, and I'd be happy to stand for any questions.
Well, Trevor, I appreciate you. I know that the commissioner is over begging for money from the Senate, so appreciate him sending an able body in his stead.
If you've got any hard questions, I'm sure he'd be happy to answer those.
Chairman Smith.
Thank you for your presentation. My question goes to the ones who did not get approved this time, and I know in the past we've talked about it's not like it's over. They just have to go back through the process. And so what's a good thing to tell?
Yes, ma'am. So with any of the projects that aren't picked this year, we would be happy to have them reapply for this next year. And ways for them to improve their application is to reach out to Sahela. Sahela has sat down with numerous municipalities and applicants across the board to show them areas where they can improve based on the criteria that we evaluate on. So I know Sahela is always available to sit down with those applicants.
Thank you. Mr. Chair, one more question. One more. So, with the second question, I know this year the funds have been reduced somewhat, and it's because of a trigger in the legislation that, I forgot what the trigger was, that reduced it to a certain extent based on what? And can that go back up automatically, or what happens?
Yes, ma'am. So the way the statute was written, if there was a decrease in the tax revenues collected by 1% or greater, then it would trigger a 20% reduction. So this year, we did see greater than 1% reduction. So that 20% reduction kicked in this year, and that's going to be about a $7 million reduction to this program.
Is there a measurement required by the General Assembly, or does this formula still apply per year? It doesn't end the fund or anything like that. How does it get back up to what we're used to?
So we would have to, for the next trigger to kick in, and the second trigger would be another 1% decrease in those taxes collected, would trigger a 50% reduction in funds.
Well, I thought I heard that number. Okay.
Yes, ma'am. So as long as they don't fall by 1% or more next year, then that trigger would not kick in.
Yeah, and then, so what makes it go up is that there has to be more investment in outdoor equipment and recreation.
Yes, ma'am. So that would be the only way to receive more money. And again, it's 40% of the sales on the tax revenues collected based on the federal index for outdoor sporting goods equipment. So again, would have to sell more of that equipment to see those funds increase.
Chairman Prince.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And thanks for the, I'm sorry for coming in a little late. I was in another meeting. But just wanted to make sure the color scheme that you have showing the map here, and I see Richmond County is highlighted. Is that the Fantasy Swamp project?
Yes, sir.
That's in there?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
All right, appreciate it.
I think the chairman knows a little bit about Richmond County. Any other questions from the committee? If not, what's the pleasure of the committee?
Second.
I hear a motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, like sign. All right. Mr.
Thank you,
Santos,
Mr. Chairman,
appreciate
members
you.
of the committee.
Give our best to the commissioner. We'll be seeing y'all very soon. With that, we stand adjourned.